All right, we are live. Okay. Yes, we are. Hmm. Welcome everybody. Let me know if you can hear me, how you can hear me. Checking to see if sound is okay. So if you'd like to let me know, you can put it on the comments and let me know. And I'm just gonna share it. A couple more. That's not it. uh oh, okay. All right, we are going to talk about a little bit of everything. Topics are also open for anybody that would like to bring something specific. All right. So looks like my headphones aren't something felt or something sounded pretty off the last time I used them. So decided not to use them anymore for this like in this setting. So I'm just gonna keep it very basic. Let me know. Hi. Hello, hello. Sound check, sound check. How am I doing? Let me know if the sound is okay. Awesome. Thank you. Yeah, I'm not sure. And I have another one, but when I hooked it up. Oh, maybe it will. Let me see. Welcome. It felt like that did something. I don't know if you can hear me, or I don't know if there is a difference. May or may not be. Anyway, let's begin. Have a few things that I wanted to share. Okay, cool. Um, and again, I'm open to kind of anything and everything to share and to talk about. Sounds a little different. Oh, was the other one better? Let me know if the sounds a little different. I might just take him off. Doesn't even really matter. Um, I feel like the mic is like right here. Okay. Let me take him off. Okay. Sorry. Not sure what happened. Okay. So welcome again. Sorry, that took a while. But anyway, it takes there is a phase, there is a lot of space needed to readjust and realign. And this was like a perfect example. And that what happens is, excuse me, sometimes our mind wants things like this. Our mind wants, like, right here, right now, just give me the answer. And this has actually been coming through for me lately, as far as like let the space, allow the space that is needed to unfold, for everything to unfold, for everything to unravel, for everything to realign itself. Like, sometimes we subconsciously want to rush things, and we subconsciously want to like push things, and we subconsciously want things to happen right here, right now. But part of what's happening is that the version of you that is able to maintain that frequency hasn't fully been birthed yet, hasn't fully arrived yet. And I feel like a lot of us are in that process right now of like, we want the reality, we want this, we want um, things to be like this and look like this. But it's almost like the shoe doesn't fit just yet, because the version that we are is not a match to that yet. Doesn't mean it won't. I mean, it's just it's a process. Um, it's part of the process that we're all going through right now. I feel like with so many different things moving and shifting and changing, collectively we're coming into a space where we're ready to move on. We're ready to break. We're ready to like expand. Wherever you are right now, I think we've been in this kind of holding space. I know some of I know I've heard people talk about like the holding pattern. And I know Lilith, you've mentioned about this kind of like limbo, like, not a lot of, well, a lot going on, but not a lot at the same time. It's this really interesting paradox that we do go through. Like, so much, I'm feeling so much, but yet, you know, at the same time, it's like Groundhog Day. And I know Adrian has mentioned that too, of like, feels like Groundhog Day. Um, and so I can assure you that in the next, I'm gonna go broad a little bit just because the mind gets really caught up with like time, but within the next year, a year and a half, um, things are gonna be massively different. um, you know, changes like everyone goes through different time frames. Um, what is gonna happen in the next year or two is this continual kind of push to you'll be pushed and simultaneously you'll be pushing yourself to new heights, to uh new areas, new locations. It's going to be a lot of new things, and it may even just be bringing new things into you, bringing new things into your reality to facilitate that. And it's going to be really important to continually feel this old version, this old, the old patterns of ourselves that don't want that don't want the change, that um, don't want the, don't want to move. They're stuck there. And we have to continually open up to, yes, there will always be a part of you that is this, that doesn't want to change, that doesn't want to move, that wants to stay in limbo for years. There will always be a part of you that resists this. There are, in fact, many parts of ourselves and many aspects of ourselves that are still in this like yes, no, maybe, like I'm okay, I'm not okay, but I am okay. Like it's this tug of war, it's this internal battle that's going on inside that resists and rejects at a level that our mind doesn't really comprehend. And so breathe, breathe light, breathe more light. Where do you feel that? Where do you feel that part of you that is still too scared? Too scared to move, too scared to be, too scared to change. What part of your body feels it the most? The back feels it a little bit right now. The part of you that doesn't feel supported right now is a part of you that doesn't believe it will ever be supported in any reality. So it'd rather just be where it is because it has found a level of comfort. It's it has found a level of safety, and it prefers that than the unknown, like the perception that we have about, well, we don't know what's going to happen, we don't know what change is like, we don't know what that will look like, we don't know what that will entail, and all of that is very, very traumatic, it's very fearful. And so we rather stay within that level of comfort, which is not even comfort. In a way, it might be very physically not comfortable, and yet the mind is very tactful, very good at creating comfort in what's actually not comfortable. And this is like where it kind of gets very, very interesting because we can stay there in that kind of that no man's land in the middle in between, um, in a way that is sufficient enough to like, I can just stay here and make it. I can survive here, right? And at some level we're all there. Like I'm starting to feel this more and more and more. Like at some level we're there. We've been in this reality for a while. We've been in this energy for a while. Um, there's going to be a lot of like breaking points. There's going to be a lot of massive collapses. There's going to be a lot of different things that shift us into, okay, I got to get out of this. Or I got to go out. And it's not going to make any sense. Okay, you may not have the the I'm going to say the status, the numbers, the savings, nothing to make this big push and this big move comfortable. And sometimes that's exactly what's going to get you to move. Okay, you don't have to have all the things lined up. You don't have to have all the financials, straightened out. I know that I didn't. When it came time to move, I had to move. When it came down to like push myself out of where I was, I had to. And this is where you are no longer fixated and holding on to the numbers, to what's perceived, to your physical reality, what you have and you don't have. You're no longer in that state of, um, you're not bound by that. You're not attached to that anymore because you know that that can change in a second. So now, the biggest thing about what's unfolding is really having your security come from your light soul. Okay. Your light soul has always been with you. Your light soul has always been here. Your light soul is this aspect of you that you can always trust and always rely on. That is who we all need to bridge the gap. Like we all need to be more connected to this. What we perceived as security before, what we perceived as this was safe, this is what I had to have in order to survive or in order to move on, is going to very quickly continue to shift, change, and you might even get pushed out of it. So many people are. So many people are being pushed out, literally, in different ways, right? But we will continue to see this more and more and more. In fact, there's I've already been seeing it. There's a couple of things happening in where I live, where I've seen that I'm seeing it, and it's just kind of like a glimpse of what will continue to occur. We're going to continually be pushed out of the old our old sense of security, our old comfort zone. We're going to continually be pushed in a new stability, a new a new support system. Right now, the support systems we have given us a little bit of support, like enough to get by, but they're all going through massive changes. And what what happens is we have to like take ourselves out of those systems in order for us to give birth to the new systems inside. Your new support system comes from inside. It doesn't come from out there. It doesn't come from spouse, partner, job, government. We thought it was the only support system that was available. That's why we that's why we were holding on so tight to it. And what's happening right now is that all of that is coming. It's coming for review, but we're also being pushed out of it. We will continue to be pushed to new new roads, new adventures, new pathways, new realities, right? And the biggest thing is to continually open yourself up to that. Really start to open up to this, even if you right now, like, even if you don't see it, even if you're like, because that was me. When was this? This was late 2019. It was really interesting because I was a part of a well, was I a part? Yeah, I was actually holding like live meditations in this place, and I won like a reading. And so I go in and I go and get my reading. And she was like, "Yeah, next year's gonna be like a big moving year for you. You're gonna move a lot." And when I heard that, I was like, like it didn't register at all. It's like, really? What? Honestly, I was very like incredulous. I was like, okay. But I took it. Like I took it. I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna hear it. I'm just gonna, be open to it. um and it was interesting because even at that point I was like, I'm ready to move on from my job. But that was it. Like that was it. I did not foresee the movement, the me moving, traveling. Um, and so when it happened, it was almost very spontaneous, very like that, okay, this is it. That's what we gotta do. Like there wasn't a lot of time to think about it. And that is actually that supported us in like getting things going, moving, shifting, letting go of things, donating a lot of things. When the time came for the big move, it was very, very fast. Um, but again, it was like back, you know, it was like 7 months prior to that. When I heard that, I was like, that's crazy. No, I don't see that. And boy, oh boy, was I, surprised. Um, Fast forward 6 months. So actually, no, it was like 7, 8 months later when it really started to happen, when things started to, well, shit had already hit the fan by then, globally. And this was 2020. And anyway, all this movement started to happen, and I was pushed, my partner and I were pushed to like get the hell out of this and go somewhere else for a while. So I'm sharing this. This might be, in fact, it's interesting because it was around this time of month or this time of year when it happened to me, uh, back 6 years ago. This was, it was around this time when I heard it and I was like, what, really? So it's very synchronistic that it's happening, that I'm sharing this with you guys to just get you to open up a little bit more, get you to open up to, there's a lot of movement. This is always going to be the big. This is going to continue more and more, faster and faster. The level of movement is about to explode. The level of movement, internal movement, mental, emotional, physical, energetic, is about to like, um, is going to continually increase. And I want to invite you to feel where you're resisting it at a level that you may not even feel it yet. At a level that might be very like deep, 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 deep buried inside of you. And so it might be, it takes a while to get to like the deep end of the ocean where there's no light. And so just stay in your breath so that you can start to access more of those points and more of those spaces where you can feel, where you can become a little more conscious of those energies and those aspects of yourself that are still, kind of pulling back, pulling back from change, pulling back, pulling away, pushing away the very thing that you want. This came through, actually, this very same energy came through. I think it was yesterday. I'm not sure. Everything's a blur. And time is just a blur. Um, where am I afraid of what I want, what I need at a soul level? And when I heard that, and when I wrote it, I think I wrote it and I heard it, and it was like it hit me. It hit a little bit deeper, and I realized that I think I was in a call or something, and I was writing, and I realized that this is every single one of us. We are afraid of what we are asking for, We are afraid of, we're actually afraid of, well, we're always going to be afraid of like polar opposites. We're afraid of not receiving it, but we're actually more afraid of receiving it. We're afraid of, you know, not being ready, but we're more afraid of like, oh my God, what if I really am ready? And what if I do get this? What if I do bring this? As crazy as it may sound, in fact, the things that we find really crazy and bizarre and like even unrealistic are probably the bigger things and the heavier things to really feel into. They don't make any sense. And yet, that's where we need to go. We need to feel into, where am I still afraid? So afraid. Incredibly afraid, in the traumatized sense of that which I actually want to come in. And just be with that. Like, just be with that energy. Just be with, okay, what if I am? What if I am? What if this is like too much, too good, too big, too wonderful? Um, it's literally like, rejecting this big, beautiful gift. Um, which we have all done at some level, consciously or subconsciously. This big, beautiful thing comes through, and we're like, it's too much. Can't have that. We have to continually open ourselves up to feeling where we feel like we're not a match, or we're not good enough, or we're not smart enough, or we're not worthy enough of actually receiving what we're calling for, what we actually need at a soul level in this continual evolution of our journey. Like, it's really, when I feel into that, it's like having such a distorted version of having such a distorted perception of ourselves that we would not feed ourselves, that we like can see our baby aspect, our child aspect, asking for food, asking for clothes, or asking for basic necessities. And in this very deep unconscious separation programming, deciding that no, we're not good enough. We are not good enough to receive our basic needs. It's a deep one for every single person on this planet. Feeling that is key, though. Feeling how cruel we've been to ourselves, feeling how unjust we've been to ourselves, feeling how incredibly sick at some level we've been to let ourselves go hungry or go cold. You know what that means? Like, feeling into that is so huge, is incredibly huge for every single person, because we've been doing this. It's become a pattern. This has become our way of living, just living on very little and resisting and rejecting, not allowing, not gifting ourselves exactly what we need. And I want to just pause for a moment and allow you to really feel that. And just start to sense where that is in your body. Where inside of you are you living the worst? The worst realities, in the worst of conditions, in the worst of everything. Where is that energy inside of you? And I just want you to invite more light. Feel, see, or sense, imagine just a little more light. In whatever way that it's coming through for you. I'm gonna add, allow this light to come through into your backbone, into your back, into your rib cage, into your heart space. And you'll start to feel a little bit more areas, more areas to feel, more areas that are going to need a little bit more light. It's a constant. It's a continual connecting to these spaces, to these aspects, connecting to the deepest, the deepest of the deep, the deepest, darkest, most separated. And sometimes you don't have to have this visual, you just have to have the intention to, I'm going here, I'm going there. I need to. There's no other way. I have no other option. All your other options will close because your mind is very tricky and like, oh, there's this other, and then there's this other path, and I can just escape. And you won't have that all the time. And we're getting into that phase where you are there's no other option. We have to continue to go deep, deeper into the depths of everything that we have not wanted to see, feel, own, accept, honor. There really isn't much more than that. At the beginning, like this is the biggest thing that we have. Um, we are actually very scared of our light. We're actually very, um, we have this automatic reject button, rejection button, resistance button towards our light. We don't realize it. And it's a process, little by little, just becoming more in tune, more open, breathing, more conscious, and then connecting to your light in in that state of like, I'm okay. I'm okay, and therefore I'm going to open myself a little bit more to receive this light, to receive more air. Light comes through your air, light comes through your inhale. As you become more comfortable about consciously breathing, you automatically become more comfortable breathing more of your light. And this light becomes everything. This light becomes everything that you need. This light becomes what you are. This light becomes this light becomes that new foundation and that new support system and that new everything. Welcome. So keep breathing it. It it does have to be more conscious at the beginning, like um, bringing putting an alarm in your phone, putting um, giving yourself that like giving yourself or doing whatever you need to remember. Okay, light. Go out into the sun too. Go out into the sun. Go connect to the sun. I've been doing this a little bit more. We go in and out of phases all the time, by the way. But this one came through very strong on Sunday. Like you need to spend more time physically in the sun. Let your body receive more sun. And now that I'm like in a different phase, it was like, oh yes, this is what I need. This is where I am. And it didn't take me down. It didn't like I didn't have to like go lay down and sleep, which was where I was. before. Um, he, I was able to I was able to be there, was able to look at the sun and connect to the sun and breathe more light. And I was able to, have more of my body receive more sun. And that actually energized me more, which was cool. Because before it'll be the opposite. Before it'll be like, okay, now I have to go and anchor this light. And I had to go to bed or I had to go to sleep, I had to rest in order to do that. And then the other day when I did it, it was like, oh, I'm more energized. Okay, cool. Mm. Hold on. My little plant. So another huge, huge, huge tool to open up to is if you are in a place where you can see the sun and you can connect to the sun, absolutely 100% do. And if you are not, then look at pictures of the sun, look at the videos of the sun, close your eyes and just imagine the sun. Like, this is something for all of us. This is something we all can do. This is something we all must do. This is no longer a option. This is no longer an option. All of these things that maybe you've heard or I've said, or all of these different things, and you'll know which ones. They will become more important for all of us to do. And we're there. And it's pretty magical because this is where everything starts to continually break more and more and more. When we no longer have those options that we would run to escape and to escape from, um, when we have no other option than to just breathe and just be, that changes absolutely everything. And we need to be conscious that that's where we are. So that's where we are. And it's like finally we're getting more and more of us are getting closer to that to that phase where life becomes everything, our breath becomes everything, our body becomes everything, our internal world becomes everything. And that's where we are. That's where we live in. So, um, might not be here for too long. I know I came here a little bit later than normal or than I have been. But I do want to connect with you guys and see how you guys are. How are you feeling? How are you guys flowing with everything? If you'd like to share, you're more than welcome to. I'll just share that there. I made a video that has light codes and sun a few days ago. I uploaded it to my YouTube yesterday. Would it be okay to share it in the Facebook group? I have not shared it yet anywhere. Yes. So Share. So what's holding you? What's holding you back? What's the fear? Which, by the way, we all have this. I also have to be in that. What are you afraid? What are you afraid? Where is that fear come? Where is that fear inside of you of not being able to share? Share the light. Share your light. Share. In this instance, the video of the light. Where are we afraid to share ourselves? Where are we afraid to share who we are? And obviously, that's a big, massive question that will bring up a lot of things because we have not been in this, we haven't been in a reality where we have felt it's okay to be our light, it's okay to share our light. In fact, we have believed that it's the opposite and it's not safe and it's not okay. Adrian, tired, tooth nerve discomfort. Yes, there's tooth stuff going on. One of my parents had to go to the dentist also to get some things checked. So mouth stuff happening. In fact, I had a new sensation the other day come through of like this kind of tremor that was like bottom lip, kind of the chin area. Very interesting. Like it came in when I was sleeping. So there's a lot of movement. Everything resorts back to movement. A lot of movement. Tons and tons and tons of movement right now. And so allowing the movement, honoring your body, asking your body what it needs, asking your body what will support it more. But asking from this space of this isn't me escaping, or whether of course I do have to go into where am I escaping, where I do not want to feel the discomfort, where I do not want to feel the pain, where I do not want to feel this. Open up to that realm too, and then come back into where can I support you so that I can feel I'm okay while I go through the pain, the discomfort, the hurt, the so on and so forth. We automatically go into this make it stop, right? We have pills for that. We automatically want to go into that. I don't want to feel this, right? It's a intrinsic program that we all have. And so allowing yourself to come back to the breath, breathing, so that you can come into the space of like, I might, even though I'm feeling the discomfort, even though I'm in this pain, even though it hurts, deep, deep, deep down inside, I feel okay. I feel supported. I feel peace. And sometimes it's just like a little bit. Sometimes we will go through so much physically. And yet coming back into that space of like, okay, where am I resisting? How can I support myself so that I can feel loved while I'm going through this phase, while I'm going through this process? And just surrender, surrender to that moment, surrender to that discomfort, surrender to that experience, and surrendering to that pain, because pain is expansion. Pain is massively supportive. The moment that we start to shift out of pain is bad and pain there's something wrong and pain is dangerous to pain is growth. Pain, there is an expansion going on when I feel pain. Can I just flow? Can I just surrender? And it's that's a big key for every single one of us, to just feel this. So going back to where do we feel like it's not safe to be us? Where do I feel like it's not safe to share? Share the highest and purest aspect of myself. Where is it not? Where do I feel scared to do that? Because, by the way, we've all had very traumatic experiences with that. Um, we've all been in this very backwards world reality where being ourselves and being our light and sharing and doing what we can as light has been completely misperceived, has, it's been a threat, we've been tortured for that. Like, it's just like in the subconscious of the collective. It resides in our body. And so whether or not you remember or not remember or realize that this was a true reality, our bodies get triggered and our bodies get activated when we do go through. When we kind of start stepping out of that or start stepping into, I'm going to share, there's all kinds of fears. All kinds of fears are going to come up to the surface for you. It's normal. It's part of the process. We have to be willing to feel everything that we're scared of. Deeper and deeper inside in our internal body, so that we no longer give it more power, so that we no longer be as afraid, so that we're no longer allowing those fears and aspects to control us. How crazy it's been crazy, but yeah, we literally like, here you go, here's the key, here's the power, here's here's my fear, make it bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger so that I can be more and more scared, so that I can hide, because that's my safety, that's my safe zone, that's my protection mechanism. So that's like just glimpse of how incredibly distorted everything has been, that we have at some level literally given more power, have given away our power, and have given the keys, and have given more control to those things that we are afraid of. All those things that we've been running away from, we have gifted more power, more control to all of that. Because again, it was safer at some level to just be, to hide, to be small, to play victim. And we've been living like that for a really long time until now, where this is no longer how it's going to be okay to live. This is no longer how it's going to play out. This is no longer in the cards. This is no longer the storyline. And we're in the middle of that transition right now, where we're starting to become more conscious and we're starting to feel an enormous amount of things, an enormous amount of fears, subconscious fears, so that we can start to share more, so that we can start to be who we are and feel completely and totally supported when we do share. Everything is flipping upside down, or everything is flipping up right side up now. So before, we didn't feel supported when we were ourselves, when we were sharing our light. I thought that was dangerous. In fact, it kind of was. And now everything's flipping. And so in that transition phase, we're going to have to feel absolutely everything. Everything that we were afraid of, so that we no longer fear it. Because in essence, we were only fearing a version of ourselves that grew so big and grew so monstrous and grew so heavy. We thought it was something different. We thought it was something separate than us, but it really wasn't. Just a really, really deeply hurt and deeply fearful and deeply traumatized version of ourselves that lived completely and totally abandoned from home. And all of that starts to dissolve. All of that starts to shift. You start to bridge the gap and no longer fear yourself. You don't have to fear yourself anymore because you're changing. You no longer have to fear your, like, you have to feel, and in that feeling, fear dissolves. And those aspects that were very big and ugly and dark start to dissolve as well. So they're actually not as big anymore. Sometimes it's the reflection that really distorts. Well, actually, it is the reflection that distorts the whole thing. But you no longer have to fear this. You no longer have to fear yourself doing something completely and totally horrible to yourself. Things are changing, things are shifting right now. More light is coming through, more peace, more everything that you are is coming through. It's just that within itself is also very scary. Like I said, somewhere deep inside, we actually fear what we want. Somewhere very deep, deep, deep inside of us are extremely scared of actually getting what we ask for, what we need. Just feel this out. Just breathe. Let your biggest worries, biggest fears, biggest traumas, biggest realities, like the scariest realities, start to dissolve through your breath. Literally, it's your breath. It's the light that you intake through your breath that can change everything. So that's why we're breathing, closing our eyes, breathing more light. Your light is the essence of yourself that takes over. This this light that you are is what does everything. The ego's been trying for far too long to do this. When in reality it doesn't even want to do this, which is part of that internal battle where nothing gets done, where we get stuck and we feel stuck and we're stuck there for years. That's because we were under the impression that we had to do it like this or we had to do it through this aspect when this aspect has never wanted to get things done, has never wanted to do anything. So, good news. Your old version does not need to do this. You just need to breathe more light, and when you receive more of your light, is when things actually start to shift. And that big, bad, ugly, dark version of you actually starts to dissipate, starts to dissolve, starts to come back to the light. It starts to create a whole new experience for you. It's transformation. That's when transformation occurs. That's when change occurs. That's when all of these different things occur. And when you stay connected to your light, through your breath and to your body, it happens naturally. I feel like this is such a foreign concept for so many of us. Okay, I mean, even for me, it's like we're stuck in this, like, trying to figure things out and trying to make sense and trying to do all of these different things when it's like Dorothy. When Dorothy at the very end realizes she's had the power and it's so simple all along, but yet that's part of the journey that we have to go through and walk the yellow brick road and you know have all of these experiences and you know um, think things are like this when in reality everything is flipped and backwards and upside down and inside out. And then we come into this realization that, oh, that was it. I just have to breathe. I just have to breathe light, think of light, imagine light. We've complicated this, but in a sense, again, it's just part of the process of how things work right now. We complicate everything to get us into a space where we get so done and we get so frustrated and we get so like we get to a breaking point. And when you get to a breaking point, that's when you actually open yourself up to an easier and simpler way. So don't be afraid to break. Don't be afraid to fall. Breaking points are your exit points. This is where you start to break free. This is where everything starts to change. This is where we start to experience something completely different, and we actually give ourselves permission to stay there. Your runaway aspect, your fight or flight aspects are no longer as big. They're there because there will always be that part of you at some level, but they're no longer thousands of aspects of yourself. They are no they. It's like there's no longer an army here trying to escape. Now it's just like a few, you know, aspects here and there. And so it becomes a lot simpler. Everything becomes more and more simple. Everything becomes more and more harmonious. And you start to remember that this is where you belong. This is home for you. This is what you've always wanted, but at the same time always resisted. This is your joy. This is your heaven. This is what we all came to experience. This is what we all came to allow. This is what we all came to create, but not from here, from our body. And you and I have to continually fully be in it and fully live it and fully permit it. This isn't an outside in, this is an inside out. And again, there's many levels to go through, and there's many points, like very, very dark points that we go into. This is like the depths of our ocean, the parts of ourselves that are so deep, that are so dark, there's no light, just like the ocean floor. But this is why it's so important to continually connect to your light, because you when you continue to go deeper and deeper and deeper, you bring the light. You bring yourself as light so that you can start to see more of what is in your subconscious. And this is part of the process too. You must be willing to see, to feel, accept, and own the parts of you that you do not know exist. Because there are many. Because they're all around you. Because they are playing out in people and leaders and versions that we fight and we resist and we detest. And the powerful thing about all of this is that we're coming more and more into a reality that is showing us our deepest and most darkest aspects. We're not separate from anything or anyone. It's just that to the linear mind, It's unthinkable and unimaginable and so irrational to think that you can be like that person. We fight that truth. And so there's this like resistance going on that coming into a space where you can open up to and feel um, the things that we've allowed and the things that we've created within that level, that deep dark level of consciousness, is your key to freedom. It's everything. Because when you are willing to connect and you're willing to feel the very thing that you're scared of, or the very thing that you don't want to, that's what allows a deeper integration of that aspect inside. You're bridging the gap. And everything shifts, everything changes up. Everything changes and continues to change. So make this simple. Let's make this simple. We don't have to fight ourselves anymore. We do not have to punish ourselves anymore. We don't have to make this more complicated than what it already has been. It's already been hell. Okay, but now we have to feel deeper levels through our light of what that actually has been or what that actually feels like inside in order to break out of it. Your feelings, you feeling through your light is the biggest key. Feeling through your light. That sounds like a course. Probably will be. Breathe. We're turning the page. We are closing out a book. It's not just a chapter. We're closing a whole entire book. We're closing a whole entire era. And the closure, it's already started. I mean, it has started. It started in 2020, right? It's been going on for a while. But now that we're moving into the second half of this decade, there's going to continue to be a lot more movement that will support us into closing that ourselves. And yeah, there will be things that will be closed for us. There will be things that will end. Um, Things will end, or the universe will end things for us. But then there are other things that we need to end. And we need to feel the closure inside of ourselves so that it's an easier, smoother transition to go into. So that's going to be another thing that I'll open up, moving into higher levels of support through Divine Mother, Divine Father, and closing out all of the other aspects of ourselves that were that are old, that are distorted, that are separated. So we'll be working more with mom and dad, and child, baby aspects, so that we can close out, close out, and open up new chapters of our book, of our life, that are no longer influenced by whatever physical reality we chose. Because when we keep holding on to certain physical realities and certain physical experiences that were very traumatic, those energies keep coming back into our lives and keep interfering with who we are and what we actually want to experience. And at the very, very, very core, we all want to experience more peace. We all want to experience more support. We all want to experience pretty much the opposite of what we have since we've all incarnated here. But the physical frequencies and emotional energies that still reside within our body, that tie us to those old physical realities that occurred at whatever point in our lives, keep us back there. And so this is the time for all of us to bridge the gap, feel deeper levels of the mental and emotional energy that keep these energies in the physical, so that we can turn the page, close the book, and end those stories. So I'll be sharing more about that as we move through the week. But it's all happening. We're all coming into new realities. We're all coming into deeper depths within ourselves. We're all seeing more things. The world is moving and shifting so fast, and it's not the end. Meaning it's going to continue to move and shift very, very fast. Our new support system comes from within. Our new support system comes from our light. And the more that we continue to connect to our light and be our light, the more that light connects to everything around you outside of yourself and adds to that support. Everything in your physical world adds to your support. The more connected you are to your light, the more connected you are to this pure essence that you are. So we're there, we're here, we're moving, we're shifting, we're flowing, we're feeling so many things. You're not alone. Your body knows exactly what's happening. Your body knows exactly what it needs. Your body knows absolutely everything. Can you allow yourself to connect deeper with that aspect of you that knows, so that you can feel more supported. And that's up to each and every single one of us to do and to decide. So, with that, I feel like this is a good wrapping point, good way, good um, closure. So, thank you so much for being here. I don't know exactly who's here, but Adrian, Lilith, and Forrest, you have been here. So, thank you. And for anyone else that is here that didn't mention, thank you for staying around. Thank you for listening to the playback. Um, Thank you for breathing with us. Thank you for being here during this time because I know that this is where things get really weird. This is where things get really wild. This is where the shift becomes more and more palpable. This is where the shift becomes real on every level and in every way. This is where um, the level of purging and the level of realization become bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. But everything transforms from that. So we're here because we're ready. We are going through what we're going through because it will support us. We are feeling what we're feeling because our bodies are clearing so much. Right? You're welcome. Thanks for being here. We are at this like huge pivotal point in history because it's time. Because we're ready. Because we have no other choice than to just give up, give it up, give up the fight, give up to your light. Let your light just take over. Let your highest bridge you to everything that you are, everything that you need, and everything that at a deep soul level, or it's a soul desire. We're there and we're here and it's all happening. And so thank you for being here on this journey with us. So sending you a huge hug. Breathe more light and ride the wave. So I'll be sharing more with posting, sharing and posting as we move. You can find more support on this site. I'm just going to share that with you guys. And with that, thank you again. We'll see you guys. I'll let you know when I come back because it's all kind of shifting as always, but I will share with you guys when I'm back. So send you again huge love, huge hug, much love, and peace. Have an amazing rest of your everything, and we'll see you guys soon.